Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. Were you aware that Soul Train, the well-known show that influenced an entire generation, received cancelled permanently due to a crazy scene? This startling moment entirely broke fans and altered TV history hearts. Stay put, because we're leaving. 2. Share with you that incredible performance, Soul Train's demise, and all the drama that ensued behind the scenes. For 35 years, every Saturday morning, America was given an hour of Soul Trains honoring the culture of young black people. The show referred to itself as the hippiest journey in America. Furthermore, Soul Train wasn't only the location to witness the newest dance styles, clothing, and hairstyles. Additionally, it was where the first big break for new music came. It became the preferred location for black musicians to gain recognition. Additionally, by the 1980s, it was providing groups with their own first national attempt at fame. Similar to a cultural highway, instructed everyone in dancing, how to attire, as well as the music to enjoy. Amazing under all those dazzling lights shows and outrageous paisley attire, something was being done by Soul Train. Revolutionary. It displayed black identity in a completely other way. The program was founded on retaliating against racist culture and media in overall. And it developed over a period of when folks were insane and were irritated. Despite the fact that times were difficult financially, but the rights movement was gaining momentum. Soul Train maintained an upbeat tone regarding black empowerment that people actually required. For me, it was a way of life, my Lewis claims, culture, and my generation. One of the most popular Soul Train dancers is Skier. I'm Mexican and black, and I was raised on the Englewood streets, and each Saturday morning, which was our opportunity to view our individuals and take pleasure in our unique dances, styles, periods, and fashions. Cornelius, Don, was the Soul Train's principal host and former employee in the role of executive producer. Cornelius was tired of the news' constant chatter regarding black crime, but it was never brought up police abuse, and he desired to alter the way black Americans appeared on television. Cornelius desired to witness actual and favorable depictions of African Americans in the press. Thus, he generated concepts for his own television program based on the American Band on ABC, a very well-liked hour-long program with teenagers dancing to the newest tunes. Cornelius located nearby teenagers for the program who would form a line outside the network building, day after school, in the hopes of receiving an opportunity to perform a dance on video. Chicago's black community received a show that did more than simply mend the awful underrepresentation, but a show whose main goal was to celebrate the talent of black people. It began broadcasting across the country in 1971 with a vibrant and daring new set that complemented the classic line and the new location, "Welcome on board. You arrive promptly for a lovely journey on the Soul Train." It wasn't long before musicians were the ones requesting to board Soul Train rather than conversely. Well-known names like Arthur Franklin gave a performance at the top portions of their professional lives, and Stevie Wonder even composed a brand new song in real time on the performance. The Jackson 5 were typical visitors, which further enhanced the show's star-studded. Early on, artists would perform their songs while lip-syncing filming. However, Don Cornelius discovered that live performances were required in order to maintain the show's excitement and novelty. This produced incredible moments, such as Barry White accompanied by a 40-piece orchestra, and Al Green's performance was amazing, despite his arm being broken. James Brown went so far as to dance on the floor, with the dancers donning glittery purple jumpsuit. Afterwards, Cornelius produced uncommon exclusions for artists that are not black, embracing artists with souls such as Elton John and David Bowie to the stage. For a lot of dancers and artists, Soul Train was quite intimate. Daniel Jeffrey, honor-renowned dancers from the shows, once remarked, "For me, Soul Train was really intimate. It began my entire career, but more crucially, it was something that young black America was shown by Cornelius made. Sure, black people were given power in the show, talent, behind and in front of the camera. He assembled a group of black experts in each area of production, ensuring that chances were available to individuals of color. Pam Brown, the talent booker for the show, would hold auditions in the recreation area of Los Angeles centers, seeking dancers with distinctive fashions. Cornelius felt awed and occasionally astounded by the audacious and innovative dancing steps emerging from California. He rapidly assembled a group of dancers who were notable due to their flair and individuality. While being a dancer with soul training appeared glitzy, the work wasn't simple. Dancers captured anal of the episodes for the full month in only filming. 2 performances in a single weekend on 2 more on Sunday after Saturday. They have to pack several different outfits, lots of vitality, and a great deal of endurance. Regretfully, they received no compensation, unless they were performing with an artist. An issue that seemed incorrect taking into account the show's goal, to fostering black talent. Among the most well-known, the Soul Train was one of the show's components, line. This section, which was first presented in the featured dancers from Season 2. Lines, forming a route through the center where dancers could perform in pairs, their actions. The line turned into the greatest portion of the performance, providing each dancer their chance to shine. As the group dancing frequently resulted in competition for, the Soul Train line provided camera time, special consideration for every performer. Numerous dancers took full advantage of this. Spotlight by performing flips, utilizing props, or incorporating imaginative elements to capture the interest of the viewers. The Soul Train line was more than just a dancing move. It turned into a phenomenon in culture that's considered to be among the finest, cherished and recognizable characteristics. It captured the energy flawlessly, inventiveness and uniqueness that described Soul Train's heyday. Among Soul Train's most enduring, the way it affected dancing is called effects. The program featured more than just the newest, it produced trends, styles of dancing, such as locking, ticking, popping, and whacking, which subsequently evolved into the basis for voguing, hip-hop, and the soul is where breakdancing originated, train platform. The real Michael Jackson discovered the well-known robot from the program and became an expert at the backslide, which has, the moonwalk was renamed after dancer Jeffrey Daniel. These actions would subsequently determine whole pop culture eras, and everything began on Soul Train. Daniel Jeffrey, a dancer with soul training, recalled how he was influenced by the show. Suddenly, I saw young black children my age on TV. Dancing is what I love to do the most, and doing it with a nice appearance. Going up until that point, when we appeared on television, we were either being pursued by law enforcement in some dumb comedy, or selling narcotics. That was the start of my lifetime, to be a part of that program. The style was just as famous as the dance on Soul Train. Moves. Performers and dancers wore vivid hues, striking designs, and innovative styles that were immediately recognizable, from Belle and Dashikis bottoms to platform shoes, and Soul Train brought black medallions design into American living spaces. According to Jeffrey Daniel, the show's fashion that is cozy, vibrant, and emotive, stating that it was flawlessly captured the time period. Prior to Soul Train, black performers were frequently categorized or ignored by the media at large. The program reversed that narrative, demonstrating showcasing new black talent and vivid, upbeat perception of dark America. The program's Don Cornelius, the founder and host, assembled a group of on- and off-camera black talent, ensuring that there were chances for individuals of color in all facets of manufacturing. Regarding dancers such as Cheryl Song, the sole Asian dancer on the Additionally, Soul Train shattered racial stereotypes on obstacles. Despite early mistrust among her contemporaries, Cheryl emerged as a crucial component of the program for 14 years. Her narrative demonstrated Soul Train's capacity to honor diversity while remaining loyal to its primary objective of exhibiting dark excellence. Soul Train wasn't, but it was overtly political, reflecting the battles and triumphs of its era. The America went through a turbulent time in the 1970s, includes conflicts over segregation in schools and growing poverty in inner cities. In opposition to this, Soul Train provided a backdrop of pride and optimism. Sections such as the encouragement of the Soul Train Scramble board viewers must become familiar with black iconography, such as Harriet Tubman and Phyllis Wheatley. Additionally, the show celebrated black beauty in its natural state, with its collaboration with Afrosheen, a company of black-owned hair products. By showing advertisements for Afrosheen and Soul Train, encourages natural hairstyles, strengthen the idea that black people are lovely. Allow us to show you the most thrilling section that everyone will like, Soul's remarkable performances, Train. Of course, the ideal place to begin is, of course, first. The program's the first episode to be shown nationally on October 2nd, 1971, with No Except from the Pips and Gladys Knight. Their act is still recognizable, not just for the music, but also for the enthusiasm bringing Don Cornelius to their introduction. His signature is deep voice and enthusiasm. He presented the group as four lovely individuals who symbolize a powerful mountain of soul. That instance prepared the ground for the amazing legacy that Soul Train would create in the upcoming years. Among the most Soul Train's iconic performances in 1973, history was made when the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson took the stage to play their popular tune, Machine for Dancing. The track, a huge achievement that reached the top of the R&B charts and ranked second on the pop charts, became Into Their Spirit makes them even more iconic. Appearance of a train. It happened during this Michael's performance, which introduced the now famous robot dance. Observing the Pop King perform the robot flawlessly was incredible, and it made a mainstay of popular culture is dance. Although over the years, numerous people have attempted the move. This act demonstrates its intended meaning, to be completed, accurate, engaging, and awesome. In December of 1975, their renowned group label introduced an completely fresh vitality to Soul Train with their Lady Marmalade performance. This was more than simply a song. It was an assertion. Nona Hendris, Patti Leal, and Sarah Dash astonished the crowd with their futuristic metallic clothes. Afro-futurism was essentially invented on the stage of Soul Train. Their audacious fashion sense, in addition to the eclectic sounds of their worldwide impact, made a lasting impression on the display and on the history of music. It was the intersection of music, fashion, and art joined forces in a manner that only Soul Train could provide. Al Green's 1974. The performance was again another memorable one. Highlight. In contrast to the majority of musicians on the display, the artists who usually lip-sync their songs, Al Green, 27, performed live, dazzling the stage with his unadulterated charm and ability. Wearing neon platform loafers with a sling on one, arm on the other with a long stem in hand, Rose. Green provided a heartfelt and passionate performance that exuded both unquestionable appeal and spiritual vitality. The crowd was enthralled as he provided 7 minutes of the only thing that could sanctified sex appeal, as it were. It was the type of show that characterized why Soul Train wasn't only a musical performance, it was an event. The soul. Additionally, Train broke down barriers by allowing its uncommon for white artists to perform at the moment. One such instance occurred, as of November 4, 1975, David Bowie adorned the stage. But Bowie's anxiety defeated him. According to reports, he drank too much in advance and had trouble by means of his performances, which needed Toby repeatedly re-recorded, because he hadn't committed the lyrics to memory. In spite of the raw beginning, Bowie's appearance represented the show's increasing popularity and readiness to cross cultural borders. According to legend, Don Cornelius had a candid discussion offstage with Bowie, making him aware that Soul Train wasn't a location for mediocrity. As with all good thing, Soul Train ended as well. Many fans were saddened by its final farewell, and some people continue to question why it had to put an end to it. Soul Train's entry into the 1980s. Shortly later, the music business began to alter. Hip-hop was becoming a powerful force, and it brought performances that were occasionally regarded as too edgy for the conventional show viewers. One instance of this was the Milli Vanilli's Notorious Act in 1989. They were first presented by Don Cornelius as the earliest well-known European rap artists. However, a few months later, it was made public that neither of the two had performed any of their original music. They were fake lip-syncing. This controversy hurt Soul Train's legitimacy. Another contentious, David Bowie gave a performance in 1975. The quirky vocalist from London, who is recognized for displayed signs of nervousness for pushing boundaries, and drunk, losing track of his lyrics, and requiring several attempts to obtain via his set. Don Cornelius, consistently, according to reports, the perfectionist was irritated behind the scenes with Bowie. The sentiment started to erode the Soul Train's polished image had developed over the years. The show behind the camera had difficulties as well. There were increasing hostilities between dancers and manufacturers, as some believed their contributions were not given enough credit. Soul's lifeblood was dancers. Practice, making famous movements, and establishing patterns, but many of them weren't fairly paid for their labor. This resulted in friction, and occasionally the exits of cherished cast members. Furthermore, as the music industry changed, Soul Train found it difficult to obtain elite performers. Rival networks such as MTV and BET were gaining fame, and a lot of musicians choose to show up on these more recent platforms, which served the growing hip-hop market. One of Soul Train's most significant obstacles was its failure to stay up to date with the periods. By the middle of the 1980s, fashion, music, and there had been a significant cultural shift. Soul Train had been present in the vanguard of fashion in the 1970s. It started to feel dated. Younger shows with more edge attracted audiences that embraced urban culture and hip-hop in a more contemporary manner. Cornelius, Don, who'd consistently been the driving force behind Soul Train, found it difficult to relate to this fresh musical trend. He is renowned for, didn't comprehend hip-hop, and frequently refused to include it in the program. Soul Train felt excluded as a result of this disconnect, out of touch with its original audience represented. With all of these problems, soon the number of views started to drop. Soul fans who grew up watching Train was filled with nostalgia, but were no longer consistently tuning in. Conversely, younger audiences were swarming to performances that felt more pertinent to their daily existence. The spell that once created a Saturday morning Soul Train. Ritual was dwindling. In 1993, Don Cornelius took the Tough Choice tour sign from your position as host. His farewell sign, love, soul, and peace, signified the conclusion of a time period. Cornelius was more than just a host. He was the lifeblood of the display. There was a gap left by his departure that no one could actually fill. As other hosts Soul Train attempted to carry the torch, but was without him, things would never be the same. Cornelius's departure also brought attention to a deeper problem. His idea was Soul Train, and without his guidance, the program had trouble figuring out where to go. Behind the scenes, the group encountered increasing difficulties, and the vitality that once fueled the program started to run out. By in the middle of the 2000s, it was evident that Soul Train was no longer able to match the competition. 2006 saw the program's last episode, discreetly concluding a 35-year run. Fans were devastated, and many questioned how something so recognizable could disappear. From its 1970 launch till its Soul Train's last episode in 2006 made millions of people happy and inspired of admirers. Today, its legacy endures, unrivaled. Many people think that no other show has never approached the enchantment and Soul Train's cultural influence, and there probably won't be. Fans continue to talk about Soul Train in a loving manner and sentimentality. It was more than a show. It was a lifestyle, a fan wrote on the internet. Another said, Soul Train gave me a sense of cultural pride. It was a location that would allow us to shine, where our talent and music were honored, like no other place. These sincere remarks demonstrate the extent to which the performance was intended to individuals. Why Soul Train was so unique was its capacity to attract collectively. It was more than merely observing Michael Jackson and other well-known artists, both Stevie Wonder and Arthur Franklin, execute. It concerned the vitality of the demonstrate, the happiness it offered to each observer. Everyone felt as though the show, they were a part of a greater whole, something historic. The Soul Train. Line became a location and a symbol of that oneness, where people could express their emotions through dancing out and demonstrate their own skills, nor regardless of their origins or identities. Despite its conclusion, no show was able to duplicate what Soul Train accomplished. It wasn't only about dancing or performances. It concerned harmony, pride, and happiness. It provided a place for dancers and artists to be noticed and valued during a period when such there were little opportunities. As one admirer, there will never be another soul, the author stated. Train. It was an experience of a lifetime. Show. Soul Train's passing created a void in the realms of television and music. While more recent programs have attempted to, they have failed to deliver the magic. The Don Cornelius's charm, the innovative performances, as well as the show's soulful energy, is simply irreplaceable. Soul Train contributed to the definition of an era, and its effects are still evident today. Permeates everything, even the music videos of today mirror the tendencies of modern dance that we observe on TikTok. The legacy of the show endures through the trends it established, the stars it began, and how it altered the way the world witnessed black culture. Now, Soul's unique place is still reserved for trains in the hearts of those who were there directly. The show's recall,